Well, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Mridu Preddy, and in this video I'll be talking about the 14 activities that got me into medical school. So if you're interested in what I did extracurricular wise to get into medical school, then keep watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video and follow me on Instagram to be more connected. Before I start with this video, I actually want to let you know what this channel is really about. I actually want to make this channel dedicated to kind of first generation medical students. I kind of fall in that same category because I have one doctor in my family and who is my uncle. However, he did his medical school in Nepal. Nepal, you actually go to medical school after 12th grade, and here you actually have to get a bachelor's degree in order to get into medical school. So he did not really know the system here, and I didn't really get as much help. So I want to dedicate this channel for people who are just like me, and hopefully I can be some help for you guys. So let's get started. For these extracurricular activities, I want to advise you to really know what it is about before really diving into it, and really be passionate, and you need to love it. The activity that I was involved in, which I'm most proud of, was actually opening an organization called Special Needs a Chance in my college. And this organization, my inspiration was actually, I went to this charity event and I met this female. She was 23-year-old and her name is Sabita. At that time, she told me how in Nepal, there are a lot of children with autism who are actually abandoned in the streets by their parents because the parents have no money to care for these children. She got all these children and kind of placed them in a home and kind of made like a school for them, not like a building school, but really just a way to educate them and teach them there. However, she needed a building, like actual school for these kids, and kind of like a home for them as well, like kind of joint system where there's home and school for them, because they obviously had nowhere to go. They don't have family or anything. So I was inspired by her. I was inspired at that age. She had that inspiration. She had the courage and the bravery to do something this big, and I knew that I also wanted to help her out. So what I did was, with our organization, we raised a lot of money for them, and right now, they're building a first ever school for children with autism in Nepal. The second organization that I was in was Be the Match, and this is an organization. I was the president, and what we did was we set up registry events and fundraising events where to really educate people about bone marrow and the necessity of how much we need people right now to kind of donate their bone marrow, because if you do match with someone who really needs it, then that would be a blessing. Our organization, we really help to raise awareness, educate people, and really get people to sign the registry, and it was really an amazing experience I had. Another experience that I had, an activity that I did, was actually tutoring. I tutored in my college. I tutored organic chemistry, physiology, genetics, cell biology, and introductory biology and chemistry courses, and I fell in love with tutoring. And I know in the future as a physician, I really want to educate and really teach as well. I can see myself doing that now, and it was really an amazing opportunity for me where I could help students who are having trouble with the subject, because I also utilize a lot of these tutoring places. I learned a lot from them, and my tutors were really good, and they were kind of my inspiration, and I also wanted to do something like that. So I joined tutoring as a tutor. I help students and break down like complex material into simple things. Another organization that I was involved in was TAing, which was very similar to tutoring. But during TA, I actually worked with students with like 30 people at a time, where I had to it was more of like lecturing them and asking them questions, and really being comfortable with, so many people there, and if they ask you a question, really answering them on spot and everything like that. So that was something that was kind of new to me, but I really learned from the experience because it was new. And another organization that I was in was actually Village Book Builders, and very similar to tutoring. However, I tutored in Uganda, and it was so much fun. I loved who I tutored. She was a girl, and she also wanted to be a doctor in the future. And besides tutoring and like teaching her about math, science, English, I also gave her encouragement and courage to really be persistent and be consistent in what she does, and whatever her dream is will come true. And we actually met through like Google Meet, and I could see the place they were in, and it really reminded me of my how my childhood was, and back in my country where there were a lot of lack of resources, and really getting an education was just a privilege. Not everyone had access to that, and I could see that in Uganda. And when I kind of talked with one of the organization leader there for Uganda, she addressed to me the concern that these children, they did not have shoes, and how that limited their access to coming to school because they only had one shoes per family. And that really, I had seen that in Nepal as well. And I know how hard that is. And she told me how there are a lot of bugs and fleas, and how they, how they bother the children because they're barefoot in school. So our organization, Special Needs a Chance, actually went on, and we kind of volunteered to raise money, and we raised money, and we bought shoes for them. So there were 30 students. We bought shoes for 30 children, and also textbooks. Really an honor to work with the children in Uganda. And the other activities these 3 activities, I started during the coronavirus pandemic, where I was home for a long time, and I will tell them one by one and kind of why I did it. So first one that I did was actually Crisis Text Line. And this kind of the inspiration and motivation towards working for this organization was being home for a long time was very hard for me. I was feeling anxious, and really, I feel like the whole world was kind of really, in a dark place, and especially for the medical community was really, really hard. And at least I thought that at least I had my family to go back to and talk to. However, there were some people who didn't even have that. So I really had an amazing opportunity to work in Crisis Text Line, where I listened to people, I addressed their problem, and I really tried to help them. Even if it was, temporarily, I tried my best to really give them courage and hope that it will be okay. And another one similar to Crisis Text Line was Health Nepal Foundation, and this organization was amazing. And I actually worked in this project called Smiles for Mother, and it was to kind of raise money and awareness for women who are having postpartum depression. And this project really helped to raise money, also to raise awareness, where there were a lot of health posts and stuff like that in Nepal, and they communicated with us. And these women, they're actually going to the clinic now and speaking up about how they feel. And that is a progress in itself, because mental health is such a stigmatized subject where, especially in developing country, it was very rare for people to speak up about how they're feeling. But now they are, and that is just a very big progress that I was so proud of, and so proud of the organization that I work for. And another organization that I worked for was Mission Rebuild Nepal. And this organization actually started in 2015, where it was after the earthquake, and I was part of it since then, and I'm still part of it. And recently we did a whole project on COVID, and how we helped to, we kind of partnered up with so many other organizations, Nepali organization and American organization, and we kind of collected money, and now we got like oxygen tanks to kind of ship it to Nepal from France. And that was huge, because there were a lot of people who were COVID patients, and a lot of them passed away because lack of resources in terms of oxygen. And this project really helped with that. And other organization that I worked for was actually, now I'm going to talk more about like the medical related, like the shadowing and all of that. I believe shadowing is very, very important if you want to go to medical school. It doesn't have to be shadowing. It can be like EMT work or scribing, but something that you're exposed to the hospital and with the doctors, and you can see how the doctors work with the patients. But I chose shadowing. I really liked like the direct interaction with patients, and really talking to them, really seeing the doctor talk to the patients and stuff. So I shadowed a primary physician, and it was really, really exciting. I learned a lot. I learned how to communicate with the patient. I learned how the doctor was thinking out of the box constantly, and how specialized care is so important than generalized, where everyone is different and everyone's body reacts differently. So you really need to kind of have that in mind when you're dealing with each patient. And I could see that how my doctor did. And the doctor that I was shadowing was a very positive man, and he was very excited about his work, and that really motivated me to become a doctor even more. And for my another activity, I actually also did a research with a physician I was working with, and how this started was when I was shadowing him, the patients would always say, oh, I have not fasted, I'm not going to do my blood work. However, the physician was always saying, specifically for your total cholesterol, you actually do not need to fast or do not need to fast. So I thought I was curious, and I actually got IRB work approval for it and collected like 3,000 patients data and really saw it, and could see that, yeah, it did not really make a difference. However, we did see a lot of interaction. We did like 3-way interaction between gender, fasting, state of fasting, and like your lipid panel. And there was some interaction that was really interesting, and hopefully we can publish that in the future. And another activity that extracurricular activity that I also was in, actually it started in high school, where I volunteered at Reston Hospital, and I started as my junior year in high school, and I still was volunteering there until the pandemic hit. But oh my God, it was such an amazing experience. That was like my first ever dive into the healthcare world, and I could see the whole medical community together, nurses, doctors, PA, and everyone like working together. And it was really how they worked together, collaborated together, how everyone needed each other for the medical system to work. And that was very, very inspiring to see. I got to talk with patients, I distributed water, fixed bed, I talked with patients, and I really had a lot of fun volunteering there. And that also made me more sure that this being a doctor was for me. And another extracurricular activity that I was in, actually, I worked at a nurse fatigue project as a high school student as well, and that carried on to my freshman year of college, where I was in this project for kind of addressing nurses' lifestyle and the hours they work, and how it was affecting their daily life, how it was affecting the way they were treating patients. And it was very interesting. I was working with the code book and really putting in the survey into the system, and also kind of making the poster presentation ready and working on the poster and stuff. So it was really interesting. However, that project was not published, and I think with research there, you need to have a lot of resiliency and consistency, and the product sometimes is not what you want it to be. However, it's important to kind of learn from the situation and move on. I also worked at my psychiatrist. It was a psychiatric clinic. However, they were having this COVID vaccination clinic thing at that time, and I went on and volunteered there. I helped to register patients and kind of address any misunderstanding the patients were having. It was very much a blessing to really be part of it and really help patients get vaccinated. How important it is to be vaccinated in order for this situation to kind of get better. Vaccination is very important, and I was really proud and happy to kind of address that to the patients. And the last extracurricular activity that I did was Lions Club SEWIKA. I went to Nepal to visit in my freshman year of college. After I completed my freshman year of college, I heard that Lions Club SEWIKA, they were having a free health clinic for a whole month, and I was so excited to go and volunteer. It was a way to really connect back with my community, connect back with the people. And it made me realize how much we take for granted in the US. Patients who were 70-year-old, and that was their first time ever having a visit to the hospital and getting their body checked out. That was their first time, and that made me more aware and more motivated me to really understand why I want to become a doctor, and how I want to also help with the healthcare inequity in the US as well and around the world globally. So in conclusion, I believe that these extracurricular activity helped me redirect my passion and my motivation to become a doctor, and make sure that you really, really love what you're doing. You really love the activities that, why you're in it, and really reason out why you want to become a doctor, and how when you're in these extracurricular activity, just don't do it for the resume or to really just for the hour checkup, but do really why you want to do it. If there are any other questions, or if there are any other suggestions for what I should make my next video on, then let me know, and I'll surely look at that, and I will make my video based on that next time. But thank you so much everybody for watching.